Hey guys, welcome back to the trail. Yes, it's been a long time. I've had a hiatus of a couple of years. It doesn't mean I haven't been hiking, it's just that I've not been able to make videos, not been able to give it 100% of my time. And here we are now, revisiting the beautiful Turton and Entwistle reservoirs. You'll find them near Darwin, Blackburn, Lancashire. Yep, we're rehashing an old trip, mainly because the weather's not brilliant. It's first day of February, and I need 3 new tyres and rear brakes on my car, so it limited my travelling distance. So I thought, why not come here in the rain, in the gloom. It has given rain for today, hence the jacket. But this particular walk, it's only a 10 miler, is a really good one no matter what the weather's doing. There's beauty to be found in this woodland round the reservoir, and then as we head down towards, I think it's Jumbles, back up through the golf course. You remember it, one of my early videos, and it's regular if I'm taking people out for the first time. So we'll get cracking and I'll explain where I've been for the last couple of years as we go. As I was saying, it's been a couple of years. I can't remember what the last walk was. Was it Tarleton or something like that? But since then I have been hiking. I took various people out. I took my old boss on a few hikes. It's beautiful. Beautiful even in the bad weather. It's beautiful. And really what had happened, I think I hinted at last time, there was a lot of financial trouble going on at home, which required me to work more hours. That became a trouble where I was working, I'm not there now, in which I ended up working for Amazon, and I was delivering parcels on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, which was a great laugh. I did really enjoy that. I did it for about 6 months, over just before Christmas, the run up to Christmas, and then after that. But it was not sustainable, and there was trouble in the company I was working for, and I've since left. And after that, I think within a month or two, the entire company had shut down. I was a horse box firm. So from there I moved on to another company. That lasted about a year, and then I ended up working back where I started as an apprentice, and that's where I've been since. They've just moved to a 4-day working week, which then gives us Friday, Saturday and Sunday off, which is perfect. So in January I walked the Guild Wheel. Just jump up on here just for fun. Just to kick things off, to get right back into the routine. I really wanted a good leg stretcher, and I try and walk the Guild Wheel every year just to see the change of the city, and it has changed. Massive amounts of new builds being thrown up everywhere, which is kind of eroding any greenery that we have left in the towns. Getting very annoying. I recognise there's a need for housing, but we don't have to sacrifice what little greenery we have left. And I remember that when in 2015 I walked the National Three Peaks, Yorkshire Three Peaks, the guide there said how the Yorkshire Dales were being eroded by new builds. And I wonder how different it is now, sort of 11 years on. So there we go. Car died after doing Amazon. It didn't enjoy that. I'm in a new car, Peugeot Partner, which is in desperate need of 3 new tyres and new brakes. But that sets us up nicely once that's done for some long distance walking this year. So hopefully, God willing, we're back, and we're back making videos, we're back making content. Thanks guys for keeping up and supporting. I posted a few things every now and again, nothing major, but yeah, I'm hoping to get back at it. And I'm just looking at this here tree. It's an unfortunate blowdown. Cheers. Now, one of the downsides to this trail is it's a mite bit busy, and ever since COVID, most trails in England have become quite busy. I think people took up hiking and just never put it back down, whether it's short trails or just even walking the dog. You can even hear the dogs barking. So this one, these reservoirs, jumbles, Turton and Entwistle. Imagine we're going clockwise, we'll be coming down on its eastern side soon. I'm wanting to grab a coffee at the coffee shop. These seem to have appeared more and more on these trails as they get busier. This year I went up Snowdon with Will and Denby. Will hadn't done Snowdon before, and I'll just show you a quick clip of what we found at the top. And I'm hoping sooner or later the shut access to Snowdon before the mountain is ground down to a flat plain. But yeah, so you'll notice that my gear has changed slightly. I'm wearing this Crag Hoppers jacket only because it was in a charity shop. I would never pay full whack for a Crag Hoppers jacket, so I paid a lovely, lens cap, sorry, lovely £25 for this. I doubt that the claim to be waterproof is true. I can see already it is starting to absorb it, but I like the look of it, and it kind of makes me look a bit more outdoorsy, because you can never be too outdoorsy. And my bag is a 20-litre dry bag, you'll probably find usually when canoeing. That keeps everything nice and dry, and with it only being 20 litres I can't overfill it. And as it stands, when I left this morning it was about 5 kilos in weight. Absolute marvel. I have to carry much less water now. Keep everything nice and light, keep me extra mobile, less stress on the joints, and I'm probably more willing to take a few risks. Carry less water, but I do have a water filter. I don't carry as much food as I did, and I kind of live off whatever's on the trail, which these days is now coffee shops, pubs, towns. Yeah. Right. That fills you in on that. I've had a brew. I feel a bit better. Let's crack on. The sun has come out as predicted. It's supposed to be light rain on and off with intermittent sunshine. So we've come up through the town, cut across the bowling green, and I forgot all about Wayo Reservoir. It's been that long and I'm out of practice for these videos. Now we're just coming down and we should be reaching, is it Jumbles? It will say if it's not. I can't be bothered getting my phone out to check. Oh. glorious sunshine. Yeah, this part's a lot quieter than the rest of the trail, obviously. It's not quite as well known, but as we get to the next reservoir it will get busier. But that's my gain, because at least I might get a coffee out of this. And what amazes me as well, beautiful, squirrels everywhere. Amazes me as well now, the technology's there to have contactless payments pretty much wherever I've been, even at the top of Snowdon. Even at Rivington, just before you hit the pike, there's a coffee shop there. I enjoyed a nice espresso there the other day. Yeah, technology coming along. Just finished reading Mark Boyle's, I think it's called Going Home, and he is a sort of journalist writer who cut himself off completely. For a while he did about 3 years without money, just lived off the land sort of thing, and then he wrote a book about his time in Ireland in a cabin he made himself, just living off the land. No technology, no social media. It was a challenging read. I don't necessarily agree with what he said, but I can understand where he's coming from. I think you can enjoy technology, hybridize your life by using technology, like this camera, like my phone, using that for navigation. I'm not a social media fan. You'll notice I don't have social media. I have YouTube, I have Strava for my training regimen, running in the gym, so you can always follow me on that. But mainly it's going to be YouTube, and my motivations for that are primarily for people who can't get out to do these hikes, for them to enjoy it, maybe a trail they never would have seen or done, and also for you guys who are hiking, perhaps just want something to watch between hikes. That's if you can get past all the flipping adverts on YouTube. Nope, not paying the subscription, sorry, just not doing it. Right, from here on we're going to press into a sort of wealthy area with some very nice houses, and then hopefully we'll be able to smell the coffee. Just making our way down Turton Bottoms, and that's between Wayo and Jumbles Reservoir on the eastern side. It's a bit hairy here because the descent down to the water here can get a bit slippery. But back there in the town, well, town, where the wealthy homes were, this enormous tree had come down and they chainsawed the path through it. It was that big. Wanted to film it, but there were two people already examining it. Looks like it came down a while ago, maybe over the winter. But yeah, down there you can just see some nice houses, river joining the reservoirs together as it goes down, just snaking around next to a beautiful spot. Alright, so hopefully no slips or falls, and on to Jumbles. Nice. So this part is the upper Bradshaw Valley. You can just see little nature reserve sign there. I got my coffee, I've drunk my coffee, and it's always been a steep climb up here, famously. I remember Tom saying, everyone's going that way, why are we not going that way? Because we're going up here, see you back at the car. I've had that quite a bit, people coming on hikes, and these are routes that I've clearly explained that I've been on before. Oh, this one numerous times. and then they reach a point where the trail looks a bit iffy and they go, "Do you know where you're going?" Yes, yes I do. At least on this occasion. There have been occasions when I didn't know where I was going, but you didn't get to see them. One time I rounded Spittler's Edge with my old boss, and he just lost his temper and said, "Do you really know where you're going?" I still did then. It was literally a half a kilometre detour. Oh well. On we go. Well, we've had a long slog up out of Jumble's Reservoir, a nature reserve, and it's kind of depressing. And I'm not going to be one of those who rants. I do like a good rant, but on this occasion, no. But the busyness of areas that used to be not necessarily wild, it's England, there's no wild places anymore, but just this constant steady stream of people everywhere. So this has been the first stretch where there hasn't been someone coming up behind me, and I know I'm in a relatively urban area, but compared to how it was 10 years ago, probably, when did I start hiking? Couldn't even tell you, longer than 10. There's a real difference in these trails that I initially thought were offbeat, that people didn't really know about, but which now everybody knows about. And one of the reasons is the massive, as I just showed you, amount of new build properties appearing in green areas. And I'm not going to be one of them internet ranters, conspiracy theorists, state of the nation nonsense. Don't quite care. I'm just doing my thing. But I'll just point my finger and identify that the landscape is changing, and there'll be more and more new builds. When I did the guild wheel, we'll call it the new build wheel, there was just full of them, and this was from areas that in the past, when I first walked it, were campaigning against new builds, and there they are. So again, I don't really care, but kind of disappointed, kind of upsetting. Hard to find empty wild spaces. Anyway, through the golf course we go. This is usually the spot where they tee off from, and you've just got to be careful you don't get a golf ball in the face. Public footpaths be public footpaths. Yeah, I'm no big fan of the internet YouTube whinger and moaner. Things change, life goes on. It is what it is, as they say. It is just a shame. I think this year, while I've got limited travelling capacity, I'll try and revisit some of the rarer routes and actually see if there's been a major change. Like I said, I kept on hiking, doing day hikes and things, catching up with different objectives and goals that other people had, just helping them out. But now I'm seeing a definite change, and it just struck me on the guild wheel. Sounded loud. Just struck me on the guild wheel how this impact these new builds were having, and they go up so quick. The government sort of given permission for so many millions to be built, but they were complaining that some of them haven't been built as promised. I just hope that the infrastructure's there as well. I'm not seeing schools, I'm not seeing shops, I'm not seeing road structure or buses, trains. And that's it, that's all I've got to say. It's my country and I love it. But it's not going to stop me. If I have to walk my way through every single new build in the country just to get to a bit of green, I'm going to do it, because I'm the pilgrim hiker. I'm going to take you with me, and you're going to have to witness it too. How's that sound? That's Strava telling me where I'm at. Like I said, if you want to follow me on anything, there's Goodreads, if you're a reader, and Strava. Martin J. Pass, you can follow me, my training regimen for these long distance walks. Anyway, back to it. There is a bit of an eerie fog on the moors today, and I'm very glad of this jacket. It's done well all the way around. A bargain. Underneath I only got 2 t-shirts. I didn't want to overheat. I prefer to stay a little bit cooler and then add layers in my pack. I've got a Gillet. It used to be called a body warmer back in my day. Yeah, so that can scrunch up and be compressed down, carried quite easily, along with my usual hat, scarf, gloves, etc. So with this new 20-litre pack, I've used it for about 2 years now. I just compress everything down, get rid of the non-essentials, anything that's heavy, and just risk it. It's not really wild country, as I've said before, so you can play a bit fast and loose. If there's something I genuinely miss, I put it back in, like a multi-tool. I do have one of those in. Even this long stretch from the golf course up to the car park is busy with people, so I'm trying to snatch a few quiet moments in the fog. Good leg stretcher. Well guys, here we are in a lay-by. Why are we in a lay-by, I hear you ask? That's because it's absolutely chock-a-block with people. So the Turton and Entwistle car park, absolutely rammed, people coming and going. Double parking, they were parking on the road, blocking it and making it a one-lane entry. And it stressed me right out. So I couldn't do a sort of debrief where I was, so let's turn this engine off. For the time being. There we go, bit of peace and quiet. So I was getting quite irritated, and again, I don't want to be the Wainwright. And if you remember in some of my other videos, I mentioned that in Wainwright's biography he used to get really annoyed if he came across large groups of people in the Lake District, and I don't want to be that guy, but I can sympathise with that guy. It's Sunday afternoon, what do I expect? But then I think in February the 1st, 2026, I kind of expect it to be a little bit quieter. But anyway, no more whinging, we're done. No more ranting. I don't want to be that guy. Be that guy. Right, so it was a good walk. It's always a difficult 10 miles. I'm going to see, and I haven't explained really why, but I'm going to put some stats here. These are Strava stats, and I'll probably convert them from kilometres to miles. I use Strava for running and for general walking. I'll have recorded it on this Garmin watch. This is the Forerunner, which I got to try it out. It was a cheaper model. I might upgrade. Gary and Jerry and Gary, long gone. The Garmin little handheld GPS device. I've just had enough, I'm going to be honest, with this glitching. I had to send one back, got a new one, all with the same glitches. It's so frustrating when you're trying to record a trail, get all your stats, your steps and all that, your mileage, and then look down and find that it's turned itself off. That's just no bueno for me, not for the pilgrim. So I'd had enough and I sold it on eBay. I stand by, it's a good product, but technology's now moved on. It's moving at a lightning pace. So what I ended up doing, I'll just take this out, I just upgraded. Just got my Google on. The iPhone 16, I was ready for a new contract. I got the best one I could at the time. I know it's a 17 now. And that all the problems went away. I can map read with this extra large screen. I can plot my routes. Everything runs smooth and battery life is so much better. So that's what I use. Unless Siri shows up. Cancel that. And obviously I've got this recording my GPS.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, thank you, Siri. Yeah, mind your own business, Siri. So I use the Garmin Forerunner to actually record the GPS, my steps, my mileage, my heart rate. You heard it going off regular intervals throughout the video. Fantastic, but that has a limited battery. It's obviously only a watch. So I will be upgrading to a more sophisticated one, more modern one, hopefully with a longer battery. But if I was doing a multi-day hike, I would need to be able to recharge that. It does kind of rinse the battery if I'm recording GPS. Nothing stopping me doing it with the iPhone, but this gives me a bit more body data, which I'm quite interested in. Like I said, if you want to have a look at that, follow along on Strava if you're a Strava person. You can hunt me down and just click on a little follow. You'll get a few pictures and a few comments, and that's it. I don't do social media. I ain't got time for that scrolling, doom scrolling. Yep, you saw that the gear is different. I still use a stove for making a brew. My water is in a platypus bottle. I'll see if I can get it for you. Again, because I'm using a smaller pack, I've got less real estate in which to cram big chunky bottles in. So I'm using these now. 1 litre, I've got 2 of these. Platypus squeezes. You don't get a plastic taste with platypus, you have to pay a bit more. But these are fantastic, and when I'm done I just roll them up. In summer I carry 2 of those, so I've always got my 2 litres. In winter I don't bother. It's a 1 litre, more than enough, and I do have my water filter, my Soya Mini with a gravity bag. So I'm no problems there on the water side. The bag is 100% waterproof, unless of course you fill it with water. You know, if things get damp and you stuff them in, then obviously you're going to have a moisture problem. Jacket was perfect. You can see I was just in a t-shirt with an undershirt, and the jacket kept the chill off. I wasn't sweating, I wasn't overly warm, but I did have options. I say I have the gillet to put on if I need to. Normally I'd wear a sweater, didn't feel the need today. It's not been a particularly snappy cold winter, it's been quite mild. And we're only in February, so it could get worse. Who knows? What else? There was something else I was going to say. Obviously I'm in a different car. I'm in the Peugeot Partner. Very handy. It's more like a little minivan. Perfect for the hiking. I just need to get tip-top on the tyres and the brakes, and we'll get a bit further afield and do some of these long distance walks. Right, I think I've covered everything. You're up to date. I'm not going to say it, but it would be helpful if you press that little thumb at the bottom. I'd hate to say it, I've never said it, mainly because YouTube has got really hard work. I'm sure you've noticed now. If there are any adverts, I apologise, because it's YouTube sticking them in. I have no control over that. I find it really hard to watch YouTube these days. Even a 3-minute video gets an advert right in the middle. So I apologise if that's happened. It's nothing to do with me. But give it a little thumbs up. Tell your friends if they're into this kind of thing. I don't make any money. It doesn't benefit me whatsoever. And for 2026, I will reinstate the comments section below. Up until recently, I didn't bother. Usually you get trolls or people making snidey comments or snotty comments. I ain't got time for that. But if you want to leave a comment, a little bit of encouragement, I'll do my best to reply. I read them and I reply to them. I get my notifications. I'll make that available to you until somebody winds me up, and I'll turn them off again. Right, guys, thank you so much for sticking with the channel, for not unsubscribing, and guess what? I will most definitely see you next time back on the trail.
The sun is climbing, the air is stirring, the way becomes clear, I feel its distant murmuring. The world is awaking, life now comes alive. It's time for me to go, it's time for me to survive. Over lands and hills I'll go,